We have a whole bunch of new teams and new drop spots. We have Cammy and Seti officially splitting up after playing together for years. Mr. Savage has decided to switch drop spots, but Phrodoxy says he's still going to contest him at the new drop spot as well. We also have some new teams on NA. Rise and G Money picked up a new third, and I want to talk about the new update. We have a new mobility item. How does it work? Are the pros carrying it, and should you be carrying it? I also want to recap all the craziness from the Eval Cup finals. Clix and Reet going at it. Reet being accused of cheating. There was a whole bunch of drama. Let's jump into it. We have a new update, and with it a new item that also made it into competitive, the Surf Cube. Now, how does it work? Should you be carrying it, and are the pros using it? So first off, how it works, very simple. You find it out of these spires, the mini spire, not the really big spire, the little spires you take down. They drop 2 of them 100% of the time. You can also buy them in the different academy rooms around the map or in the vault rooms, or you have a 0.3% chance of getting it out of chest. So it is quite difficult to find, but once you pick it up, it is actually quite solid. It has a 150 charge. While using it, it uses 1 charge a second, so you can use it for 150 seconds. It lets you fly really high really quickly. You can also use it horizontally. It's basically like a hoverboard without the boost that you can carry in your inventory. When you cancel it, you do not take fall damage, but you are not invulnerable while using it. So compared to the Crow, where you fly around and no one can shoot you, you are going to get beamed on this. Now, as far as are the pros using it, I've watched 5 hours of Fortnite tournaments to kick off for EU, and I saw 1 player carry it twice. Mr. Savage used it twice for a grand total of 6 seconds. He was not using it at all, and absolutely no one else was using it. So at that point, I was like, all right, either the pros aren't adapting to it or it's just terrible. But until I started watching NA, and Peterbot's team ran it a lot, like a lot. Pretty much every single game Peterbot's team found it on spawn, they would carry it. Pete would use it to get around the map, to get extra loot, to W key people, to find where people were. They were using it very heavily, and then as soon as they took down a team coming into like that mid to end game, they would then swap it out. Pete would drop it for either the cape or the legendary cape or a dash sprite. They wouldn't carry it into the end game, and I think that's the main reason why most people aren't using it. It's not because it's not good, it's just the other mobility is better. You have the dash sprite that gives you a whole trio mobility. You can stick together really well, or if you want to carry solo mobility with big pop-off potential and solo clutch factor, you carry the bat cape because it lets you just fly around invulnerable. You can take high ground, you can't get shot. It's just a very risky item to run in the end game, but it is better for mobility in general. If you just want to get around the map quickly, especially in the early and mid game, it is a really good item, and I would have absolutely loved to see it play out in solo cash cups. It would be such a fun item because I think if you were by yourself, you don't have to worry about your teammates. You could fly around and make some crazy plays, but because it's basically impossible for your whole tree to get them, it's much easier to get the capes, it's much easier to stick together off the capes, and the dashes are just stronger for an item. Basically, no one's really going to be carrying it, but hopefully we see some cool clutches with it, or we might see some teams use it to W key just like Peterbot did. Let's kick off talking about some of the new teams and their new drop spots. First off, let's talk about drop spots. We have Savage, Rezon, and Chap officially switching their drop from Supernova Academy to the Resistance base. No longer will we have Savage and Phrodoxy conning each other. Also, I thought we might have Phrodoxy following Savage around. Phrodoxy then tweeted out this to their announcement and talked about needing a drop map to start contesting them. Also replied with this gift that, I'm going to be honest, I had to ask my chat what this meant because I was too old or stupid to figure it out. Apparently, he is implying that they will not be going to France because he is already going to France, which is Global Championship, implying again that he can grief them because he doesn't need this season. But if you read more of the replies and if you watch the Eval Cup finals, Phrodoxy is staying Supernova Academy. Now, Mr. Savage didn't end up actually making the finals, which is really unfortunate. I wanted to see this team trying their new drop, working it out, but they didn't qual. They did pop off. They managed to get 79 eliminations in a 7-game format and just miss out on qualifying. They just didn't play consistent enough when it comes to placement. The Eval Cup format only has 1 point per kill and 65 points per win. In any other format, they would have been chilling. They dropped a 30 elim second in the last game. If they would have got a win in that game, they would have qualified. So super unfortunate to see for them, but they should be going Resistance base. I don't think Phrodoxy is going to be conning them and chasing them around the map. Whatever beef they have, I'm guessing Phrodoxy is going to drop it. We also saw that Phrodoxy went the Supernova Academy in the NA finals as well. So he went that drop in both EU and NA finals. So I think it's pretty well confirmed that Phrodoxy is just baiting. He's just farming the impressions at this point. He will not be conning Savage. So I'm super excited to see how that trio does going forward. Next up, over on NA, we have our Brazilian imports. We have King, PH, Zin, and Phaser. They have finally landed in NA. They've started playing scrims and tournaments, and they've switched up their drop spot. They're no longer going brutal boxcars. They will not be contesting edgy anymore, and the reason for that, I believe, is because they don't want to verse Veno at LAN. Veno has gone brutal boxcars. He's already qualified for LAN. He's made it very clear the reason why he's going, not as solid of a drop as what he could try to claim like Supernova or Demon's Domain, is because he wants to lock down brutal boxcars for the LAN event. And King, being smart, why would he go, like a tier 2 drop that's locked in for LAN against a team that's already going to LAN and wants to drop there? It makes no sense. So they've switched over to Lone Wolf, which I think is a really good decision. I think there's a good chance King can actually condition Lone Wolf coming into LAN from versing another tier 1 team, hopefully maybe getting it uncontested. Again, we don't know if any of these drops are even going to be in LAN, but it's a smart decision if you're trying to lock in for next season and also get some good practice this season. That means he is being contested by Seek's team. It was originally going to be contested by Zen and Seek, because Zen's now playing with NPen and Byla. They were going Lone Wolf. They decided to leave now. They didn't want to go up against King, and they just didn't like the drop spot, so they've moved. So it's been King and Seek going at it, and for the most part, they're going pretty even between the scrims and the tournaments they've ran into each other. They're going pretty even right now. I feel like King's team is starting to get the edge, I think, as they get more experience at this spawn fight. Seek has had the advantage of versing NPen's team off spawn at this drop, so they've got a bit more practice on it. We'll see. Maybe Seek's team ends up coming out on top, but again, they're going up against the LAN team. King has come here for the practice. That's what they want. That's what they're happy spending their season on. I'm sure they won't be happy missing out on grand finals, but they have a lot less to lose right now than what Seek's team does. So we'll see if they can end up claiming it. They're looking really good right now. King's been streaming all the tournaments, and they moved houses, so they're actually in 0 ping now compared to when they first got here. The house they got didn't have fiber, and they were playing on 15 ping, which again isn't the end of the world, but if you're going to travel all the way from Argentina and Brazil to come to North America, you're going to want 0 ping. Next up, let's talk about new trios. We have one of the most legendary teams of all time, Cammy and Seti, officially splitting up. Now, this one was sad to see. It felt like the end of an era. This team has been playing together since the end of Chapter 2. They've won a LAN event together. They have been one of the best teams of the last few years, but their placements recently haven't been up to scratch. For a while there, we were kind of, chalking it up to they weren't the best off spawn. They kept getting contested. If they get uncontested, they'll go back to being the GOATs, but we've even seen them uncontested, and they just haven't performed. So as much as I'm sad to see this team split up, I really hope the best for them going forward. And a bit of a spoiler for the Eval Cup, I'm going to talk about in a second. They won 2 of the games in the Eval finals. Both Cammy got a win and Seti got a win. So Cammy and Hari are sticking together. They're picking up eye drops. This is the first time I've ever seen Cammy play with someone who isn't Polish as his official team. They've already got a win on the board, which is awesome. Again, you're probably thinking, what happened with eye drop? What's happening with Yapko and Panzer? Well, they picked up Seti, and now they have instantly got a win as well. So clearly, both the team swaps are working for them. Both players aren't washed. They just haven't been performing as a trio. Maybe need a fresh start. Maybe need to change things up. And now they're already popping off, which I absolutely love. Another legendary duo, at least in my heart, has reformed. We have Paper and Victor V. Paper has returned to Fortnite. He is playing alongside Victor V, which is his duo for Globals. I love this duo. The vibes are amazing. You've got Victor V's dad in the call, Pops, bringing the great vibes. But they've picked up one of my other favorite people in the Fortnite scene, Epic Whale. Epic Whale has officially split with Z-Link in an Act 4 West. They haven't been performing that well. A lot of people thought Epic Whale would be one of the first teams to qualify for Globals on NA West. Have not had the placements to back it up. So we now have Epic Whale, Paper, and Victor V, where in their first trio tournament together, they managed to make the finals for the Eval Cup on NA Central. So against NA Central players who are a lot harder than NA West. I have high hopes for this trio. Unfortunately, Paper is not Div 1 on NA Central right now. So Epic Whale and Victor V need to find another to play the Div Cups this week, but they plan on queuing up NA West FNCS together as a trio. So I'm super excited to see that. You're probably wondering, what is Z-Link and Act doing? They're now playing with none other than the 6-time FNCS champion, Mero. I am a bit sad to see we aren't going to get Mero and Bucky on NA West like was teased, but we are getting Mero, Z-Link, and Enact. Bucky, unfortunately, hasn't really locked in exactly what he's doing yet. I think he's waiting for a few teams to decide what's happening. He can play Central, he can play West. He just needs to figure out what's going on. But I'm very, very excited to see Mero has an official team, and he will be playing FNCS. The last new team we have, and this is very fresh, I actually am re-recording this part of the video to talk about this because they just announced that we have Rise, G Money, and Aviv. So it looks like Virgo has been dropped. Rise Rise of Eve and G Money will be trioing, and they're switching drops. Instead of going the shafts anymore like Rise has been doing for a while now, they're going Outpost Enclave, which is a good drop. It's going to put them in contest with a few other teams around there. We'll see if any of these move around. Aviv was playing with Skittles and Bryce. They were going over at the Foxy Floodgate. They've been stuck in a gigantic spawn fight. It was 4 teams going there in the NA eval finals, so that was a nightmare. Based on the response to Rise's tweet from Skittles being gassing Aviv up, I'm guessing they're all on good terms there, and I'm excited to see whether this trio can make LAN. That's another really solid trio that's trying to play for only 2 spots at LAN when we have so many big teams who still need it on NA. We finally have the official announcement of what is going on with the Squid Game reload map. There is a trailer I'll play in the background here. It looks really cool. Again, this is mostly stuff that was already leaked. It is literally a reload map that is themed around Squid Games, and they did add reload cups like I was hoping, but they're not very good. They added a reload Squid Game skin cup, but they put it on during the Div Cup. So we only have 1 tournament a week for players who can play and who aren't Div 1, and then they put the skin cup on during that 1 tournament. They also added a bunch of Squid Game victory cups, which I was super excited for. And then I found out not only are they only console, they didn't technically add them. They've just renamed the existing console victory cups the Squid Game Cup. As far as I can see, they're on the exact same date and time as the console victory cups we already had. So I think they're just rebranding them or renaming them, which I'm not gonna lie is really upsetting. I was really holding out for the fact that we would get some PC and console, just regular all platform reload cups. There aren't a lot of tournaments on right now. I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to run some cool tournaments. Reload as a game mode, since they focus on it so much for Pro-Am, is really good for competitive now. I actually really enjoy watching it. A new map like this could have been really cool, and it raises the question that I keep getting asked: why are there so few tournaments? What is going on? Why are we not getting any PC cups? And I've talked about this a whole bunch. I think there's 2 major factors here. I want to say 3. 2 major factors here. Firstly, the mobile acquisition. I think Fortnite getting mobile back on Apple has shifted their focus to be very heavily casually focused. You guys have seen all the insaneness that's going on with Roblox and Grow a Garden and all that crazy player base. I think Fortnite's seeing that and also realizing that mobile is their main ticket to getting an insane surge of the casual player base. So they're going to double down on focusing on things like the creative maps and console tournaments and smaller, more casual tournaments like skin cups, and then taking away more of the focus from the big overall competitive tournaments for PC. And I think the reason why they're focusing so much less on PC tournaments on top of this, my second reason, is cheaters. Cheaters were absolutely overrunning the game. All you had to do is watch my YouTube videos from the last few seasons where I tried to say, I don't want to focus on cheaters, I don't want to talk about cheaters, but it was becoming impossible. They were winning cash cups. There was tournaments in certain regions where the entire top 3 were cheating. It was a nightmare. So obviously Fortnite don't like the optics of this. They don't like how bad that looks. They don't like paying out cheaters altogether. They're launching huge lawsuits. So it makes sense that if you put tournaments only on console, it's much harder to cheat. And the cheating that is done on console is nowhere near to the level and damaging as what it is on PC. So I think these 2 reasons combined is the reason why we've seen such a big drop in PC tournaments and why we specifically don't have solo tournaments. The only way you can make money in Fortnite right now is by being Div 1. You either have to be Div 1 or be one of the 3 teams that makes it through Last Chance Qualifier, which have only ever been Div 1 players. So you either have to play in an Eval Cup by being Div 1, or you have to make it to a Div 1 Finals by being Div 1, or qualify to FNCS by being Div 1. You get the picture. There is no way to earn money right now without at least getting to Div 1, which gives Fortnite way more time to find the cheaters. And I'm a fan of this. I love cheaters not being paid out. We've seen a huge drop in cheaters because of this, but I don't want it to be at the expense of all the tournaments I love, because right now we just don't have a lot of cash cups, and I really, really want to see solo cash cups come back. But there is hope. Assyrian, the absolute goats that they are, you've seen me quote them a whole bunch. They access the game files, they bring you guys information of what Fortnite's doing behind the scenes, and they tweeted out, Epic stopping cheaters. Epic is now testing a new requirement called strict TPM. This is likely to continue fight against cheaters. This is probably an improved version of the current TPM check. So what that means basically is that all that drama we had around the fact you need to make sure your PC has TPM and secure boot on, which is essentially an anti-cheat measure where it locks off certain parts of your PC, doesn't let you access certain things, and doesn't let you launch the game when you have certain softwares and hardwares and things running that can be used for cheats. So Fortnite is trying to develop their anti-cheat even more, and this looks like it's the next major step. So I'm hoping, and again, this could just be some giant cope and I could be completely wrong here, I'm hoping hoping that Fortnite is waiting to release this to then bring back solo cash cups and other tournaments that will then hopefully restrict the amount of cheaters that can make money in them. Again, fingers crossed. I really hope. I'm loving the season right now. The div cups and the eval cups have been super fun. I'm trying to cook up my own cash cups and tournaments. Again, click the link in the description down below. Join the Discord, discord.gg/digfort. We've already ran like $5,000 worth of tournaments this season. Anyone can play, anyone can make money, but I don't want it to be up to people in the community. It's cool to run these tournaments, but I would absolutely love to get some solo cash cups and some proper tournaments back. So I really hope I'm right, and I hope they're going to come back in the future. All right, let's talk about the eval cup finals. This won't take very long because there's only 6 games to talk about. 2 games on NA didn't even run. We only got to watch 2 games. So the first game win went to Muzz, Shadow, and Sphinx, which means they've won 3 at this point of the last 5 eval cup finals games they've played. After not winning the second game, they got a 6-kill-6. They've won 3 of 6 games. They're at a 50% win rate in eval cup finals since forming as a trio. They're looking incredibly solid. Then we had Rapid, Kanata, and Balls take the second win. So they got a 6-kill win and a 5-kill-6. Both teams looking very consistent. Now, there was a lot of hype and hope around 2 teams. We had Clix, Higgs, and Iomzo, who are the eval cup champions. They're dropping Supernova. They ended up getting triple contested in the finals. They were getting landed on by Frodoxy, who is obviously dropping there on EU, and then the Asia FNCS champions, who are also dropping there on Asia. So as much as I understand, I really want to see Clix uncontested in finals. I want to see him go up against Pete, who was uncontested because Poyo didn't actually make the finals, but it wasn't to be. Clix's team ended up getting triple con. They did really well despite this. I think they honestly held up extremely well. Pete ended up not doing as well as I was hoping as well with the uncontested. He got a 12-kill second in the first game, so they almost got the win. They played high ground fantastically, but lost it to Muzz at the very end. And in the second game, they got a 0-kill 21st, but that last game was a little bit mickey because we had 1 game, then the game broke, then the game broke again. No, sorry, game broke, then we had 1 game run, then the game broke. By the time we got to the 4th game, everyone was tilted, everyone was tired. They've just played like 6 hours of Fortnite until the early hours of the morning, and half the games weren't working. So that last game didn't even have Storm Surge. Everyone was just crashing out and running each other. So it was a good game to watch, but a lot of big teams went down early. Unfortunately, it wasn't a super grand performance like I was hoping to watch. I did want to talk a little bit about some of the drama that broke down. You've probably seen the clips circulating around. Again, accusations of surge trading coming out, and I want to just reconfirm for anyone who's curious about my thoughts on it. It's the exact same as it was last season. I absolutely hate that surge trading is the game. It sucks, but Fortnite has completely enabled it and said it's completely okay. They've done entire segments on the broadcast highlighting how to surge trade. So at this point, unless the teams have actually DM'd each other like, hey bro, you set up here on second zone, I set up here, we'll tag each other, don't worry, I won't kill you. That is 1000% collusion. I'm super against that. Anyone who's doing that is awful, but teams that are just setting up at their POI and building giant staircases and shooting people at the POI next to them who have extra meds, Fortnite has given that the all clear, and I'm not judging any pro who does it because I totally get it. So because of that, we did have a bit of drama kicking off between Reet and BloodX, Clix's coach, because Peterbot was happy to point out that Muzz's team has been getting a lot of surge on Cooper's team with Reet right at Flooded Frogs. They've been, trading surge. This all teed off in a bit of drama, and then in the last game, Clix actually challenged Reet and said, hey, stop surge trading, come fight me, and we'll see how things go. And we got to see how things went.
Oh, yeah. No. What up? Reet! What up? He's on me. 100. You see what I'm saying? The second they don't team in surge base chat, they get fucking. Hold up. Belt the fucking ass. Holy shit, Big Reet. What the fuck?
If you're a Clix and Reet fan, don't worry, they don't hate each other. Clix was having a bit of fun with it. He did take Reet down. Reet did jump in the call and say, hey, look, they're crazy mid-game fighters. They caught us off guard. We actually thought we're fighting a different team, and Clix won it. So there was all jokes. Don't worry, I don't think it's going to change anything, but in case you guys heard about it and wanted a bit of an update on it, it was pretty funny to watch for the most part. Like I said, this last game of the Eval Cup, it didn't feel like a proper tournament. No one seemed like they were taking that seriously. Everyone was just running it down and having fun fighting each other, or they were just venting some frustration. situation. So across the board, NA eval finals was a bit off. We were missing some of the big teams as well. Rise didn't qualify. Like I said, Poyo didn't qualify. We didn't have visuals. A bunch of the LAN teams weren't there. Over on EU, we had a pretty stacked finals for the most part. We were missing Veno's team, which sucked. I don't know what's going on with Veno right now. Veno, Vico, and Flixie just not able to make the finals. We were missing Mongrel as well. Mongrel didn't make it. Mr. Savage, like I already talked about. It was a bit of a rough one, but it was still really exciting and really fun to watch some of the new teams. Like I said, Seti, Yapko, and Pans are doing very well as a new trio. 15 kill win, 6 kill 7th, and a 5 kill 3rd. They got a 24th, but still really solid. I drop Hari and Cammy, 2 kill 5th, 7 kill 6th, 2 kill 9th, and a 6 kill win. All 4 placements inside the top 10. They are looking very solid as their first time playing together. Meanwhile, the Italians, Rick, Belusi, and Zangi with the Eval Cup Classic, they only had 1 game in the top 10, but it was a 9 kill win. So that's all that matters. They get paid. And then Chino, Pablo, and Feroxy, very similar. They had a 0 kill 25th, 4 kill 17th, 3 kill win, and then a 0 kill 25th. I did expect more from Feroxy while unconned at Supernova Academy. He finally got the drop spot he wanted. But like we saw last season, Feroxy never did that well when he was uncontested while he was focused on the spawn fight. Once he finally alphaed up the drop and locked it down, it seems like that's when he starts working on more of his endgame strategies. So we'll see. I kind of expect Feroxy to start placing a lot better if he keeps Supernova locked down and Savage doesn't start dropping there.